Well, as you can see, I just got back from being outdoors, and what a golly, what a great day! I cannot begin to tell you the joy that it brings me to be able to go out to the outdoors and just sit and watch the beauty that God has created. But just as important, to be able to bring to you a lot of that beauty in His creation. And so today, I'm going to be starting a series, probably about a 4-part series on the conservation here in Arkansas. Some of the things that are going on, not everything, but just some of the things that are going on, as well as 2 other locations, one in Texas, which will be Port Aransas, Texas, and then the other is Wheeler National Wildlife Refuge that's right there in Alabama. And so I'll be taking you there in both places, as well as a couple places here in Arkansas, and we're going to be talking about conservation efforts that are happening. So today I've got some information that I'm excited to bring you, and that is about Bois D'Arc Wildlife Management Area that our great Arkansas Game and Fish has been developing and building for a while now. This is an area that is so rich in wildlife, rich in natural habitat, water, wetlands, lake, fish. I mean, it's just full of various wildlife and botanical aspects of Arkansas. Some of the most beautiful wetlands that I've seen in a long time are right down there, just outside of Holt, Arkansas. So Bois D'Arc, if you go to Google, you can Google Bois D'Arc Wildlife Management Area in Arkansas. Now there is another Bois D'Arc, so keep in mind you need to put that in Arkansas. That's just outside of Hope, Arkansas. So I'm going to show you here some of the things that are going on there. First of all, there are several islands that are there on the lake that the Arkansas Game and Fish created themselves, and they planted bald cypress and created these beautiful little islands for the birds to create rookeries, and it worked. I can tell you that the cattle egrets, there have been ibis, ahingus, black-crowned night herons, great herons, little blue herons, snowy egrets, gallinules, that are all creating incredible rookeries and utilizing it for their nesting and breeding purposes. And it's an exciting thing that's going on here in Arkansas. Arkansas is fast becoming one of the great birding states for photography as well as for birders to come in to see some of the birds that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to see. So, with all that said, let me go ahead and let's start on this adventure today. I'm going to first start out with the least bitterns. Now, as you can see in this video here, the least bitterns probably are the smallest of the herons that are out here. And they're beautiful animals, and they're very secretive. You can hear them before you see them, and they've got a very low call that they use. Cooing call that they use, both male and female, except when they get excited or they're flying, and you know that they're coming around. But these are incredible, beautiful birds, and it's just such a great opportunity to be able to film these. And yes, these are at Bois D'Arc, but you've just got to go and do your due diligence to try and find them. And the best thing to do is to listen for them, listen in those grass reeds for them. And then once you hear one, wait. Because eventually they're going to come out in their feed. They're going to come out to feed. And so I want to encourage you to go down to Bois D'Arc to see these places. There are going to be some other areas that I'm going to take you into in some of the other series where you can also find least bitterns. But Bois D'Arc is an area for the least bitterns. One of the other birds that I love capturing there at Bois D'Arc are the gallinules. You've got common gallinules and you've got the purple gallinules. And both are beautiful birds. Of course, the purple gallinules, their beautiful blues are just, outstanding, especially when they're in breeding plumage. They're just a bright, brilliant, different layers of blues that they have. Finding them is not hard. All you got to do is listen, because they have got a cackle like you can't believe. But once you have found them, again, it's one of those birds. You've got to wait. They're in the grasses, That's where they nest, is in those grasses areas there at Bois D'Arc. And you can also, during this time, right now it's July, you're able to see their chicks. A lot of their chicks are out right now, and the parents are teaching them how to hunt, how to fish, how to swim, how to do all sorts of things. And it's just really amazing to go out and see the common and the purple gallinules. Now those common gallinule baby chicks, you'll notice them because they're black with red. You'll see they're balding, just a little bit of black fur, but they have red on the top of their heads. Whereas the purple gallinule chicks, when they first come out, they are black. But then they begin to have these beautiful browns and tans that they begin growing as far as on their feathers, and they make great camouflage. So sometimes it's pretty difficult to see. But that's one of the things, as far as I'm so proud to know several of the game and fish people that are involved in this, and they just do an incredible job to create these habitats. Now listen, also at Bois D'Arc, one of the things you've got to be aware of are those alligators. There are many, many alligators that are there. And they, most of your large alligators are at Bois D'Arc, and also not too far away, Millwood Lake as well. So just be careful where you're walking. Always keep your head on a swivel, especially if you're walking close to the shorelines, and really know what you're doing. Really study up on alligators. Because even though they might look docile, they might be laying there looking docile, those things can take off quick. You're also able to get baby alligators when you know the time is right. There are a couple of areas down at Bois D'Arc that are off limits because the alligators are breeding in those areas, and they not only don't want you disturbing those nests, but they also don't want you to get hurt, because those mama alligators can be pretty tough on you. Now, this other bird that I followed for 3 years, this is a black-crowned night heron. Now, this year, this is 2024, and this year I have seen more black-crowned night herons than I've ever seen there at Bois D'Arc. But this particular mama that's here, I've been following her and for 3 years now, and she comes to the same location. Once you begin finding the birds, keep an eye out, because more than likely they will come back every single year and nest and breed and nest in those areas. And so you'll be able to see their babies and see them fledge and see them begin to fly, and it's really a cool thing to be able to watch. Also, a lot of these rookeries that are there in the Bois D'Arc area house the cattle egrets. There are hundreds of nests in those rookeries, and most of those nests are represented by the cattle egrets. Now, I know a lot of you, the cattle egret is not on the top of your watch list or your photography list, but I can tell you during breeding time, their breeding plumage is beautiful, the reds that they have. And also during this time, you can see their babies. They're feeding their babies. Here's a couple pictures of them feeding their babies, and I got a little bit of video. And so it's really an opportunity for you to see a bird nurturing their young right after they hatch. I mean, it's just really a beautiful sight to see. Now, another bird that I have not seen there in a long time, and normally I don't give out a lot of my locations when it comes to rare or endangered species, and that is limpkins. Now, they're not an endangered species, but they are rare coming to Arkansas. And I followed these limpkins. I followed a pair of limpkins for 3 years there, and I was fortunate enough to work with a gentleman that was doing some research with the Smithsonian, and was able to utilize some of my video and several of the pictures that I'd taken, and I was real excited about that, to be able to be a part of that, and to assist them in learning more about what they're eating and their eating habits. And a lot of these limpkins that were coming in were eating the mussels that we have here in Arkansas, and there was many snails, small little snails, that they were eating as well. And so I'm hoping right now, again, as I mentioned earlier, this is July 2024, and I'm hoping here maybe in the next month we'll see some more of the limpkins come in. I've been able to capture wood storks here at Bois D'Arc, as you can see the pictures here. And wood storks should be coming around August sometime. So again, Arkansas Game and Fish is doing a great job to really be able to have these birds to come in. The wood storks just recently got off of the endangered species list, and that's exciting news because their population and their numbers are building, and that is due to places like what the Arkansas Game and Fish is built here and others around the United States. And that's why it's important for all of us to understand conservation, why it's important for you to pick up the trash that you see around, why it's important for you not to disturb, especially in those breeding times, or at least you need to know what to do in order to get pictures. I use a chair blind. I have a large lens, so I'm able to capture pictures of birds at a pretty far distance. So please, during those breeding times, try your best not to go with your cell phone and try to get pictures of these birds in their nest, because a lot of times what ends up happening is you scare mom and dad off and they will not come back to the nest, and therefore, their babies will die. So keep that in mind. Conservation is highly important. Keeping plastic and bottles and everything else out of the water can create hazards, not only for the birds, but for the turtles that are there, the snakes, the alligators, and everything else that comes in there to utilize the lakes for this purpose. Now, this other bird here that I'm showing you right now, this is probably one of my favorites that hangs out down there, and it's a red-headed woodpecker of all things. But boy, personality plus. And they have many red-headed woodpeckers. They have a lot of different types. The downy woodpeckers are there. The red-bellied woodpeckers are there. So there's many types of woodpeckers that are there. But boy, you can find these red-headed woodpeckers, and you can see them in their nesting holes, and it's really an awesome sight to see. Many types of warblers are there. There at Bois D'Arc, I am not a warbler guy. I am mostly endangered species, or species that are rare, or species that are declining, especially when it comes to species that hang out in marshes and water areas. That is my main thing that I do. So also part of that that I've been capturing birds there are the ibis. You can find the ibis. Now there are areas in which those ibis hang out, but you got to take somebody with you, or maybe carry some bear spray, because they are dealing with hogs in those areas, and sometimes those hogs might not be very pleasant. But the ibis love to hang out at Bois D'Arc. We see flocks of them flying over a lot, and they also will hang out around those rookeries. You also will have the great blue herons that are there. You will have the great egrets that are there. You'll have the little blue herons. You'll have the snowy egrets. So all of these particular species are there breeding and having their babies in these locations. This particular bird, the green heron, is very prevalent in that area. They nest and they breed there in that area, and to be able to capture, as you see here, their babies, that is something to see, because they're very elusive, and they want their babies kept in. They're very, well, all of your birds are very protective over their young, but the green herons, boy, I tell you, Mama, when these two came out, Mama came back in and she was screaming at them to get back in, and so just to be able to capture them out was a treat. The juvenile black-crowned night herons, I mentioned earlier about Mom and Dad, the juvenile black-crowned night herons that you're seeing here. Also, there were probably, the day that I was there, I counted 14 juveniles that either flew over me or that were landing in various on the various branches in those rookeries. And it's pretty exciting to see those black-crowned night heron juveniles and how healthy they are, and to be able to see all the various pairs that are beginning to really grow well there at Bois D'Arc. Now, the other reptile that I wanted to mention to you are all the turtles that are there. And here you can see that Mama had some of her babies out, and that was a pretty cool sight to see there. You can see that quite often there at Bois D'Arc, and it's just a great place. Reptiles, birds, deer, fox, bobcats, coyote, hogs, you name it, bear, you name it, you're going to see those types of animals that are there, and you just got to know where to go. So I really want to thank the Arkansas Game and Fish for all of their conservation efforts here or there at Bois D'Arc. I say here because I feel like that's where I hang out most of the time. It is one of my favorite places to go. And so I want to encourage you, take a group, take some people down there, see what's going on, but really explore well down there. And be sure when you're there now, pick up trash. Take an extra trash bag with you. Pick up some of the trash alongside the ground, and so that we can keep Bois D'Arc looking beautiful. A lot of people fish down there. And I also encourage you fishermen that are there. Hey, listen, don't leave your trash around. Pick up that trash, okay? Help us keep Bois D'Arc clean and healthy, and so that we can protect all of the wildlife that hangs out there at Bois D'Arc. Hey, Arkansas Game and Fish, thank you so much. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for all your efforts in conservation. And we who are bird photographers and who are birders really, really enjoy that area, and we so appreciate all the work that you guys have put into making Bois D'Arc what it is for the community, for the state of Arkansas, and people coming into Arkansas to love. Hey, God bless you guys. I hope you got something out of this. If you got any questions, you're more than welcome to email me at r-K-Holt@att.net. That's r-K-Holt@att.net. And I appreciate my son Cameron Holt because he allows me to be his caddy. And that's CameronHoltPhotographyStudio.com. CameronHoltPhotographyStudio.com. And you'll be able to see some of my pictures on there here soon. And we're just all looking forward to continued working with you and continuing conservation efforts here in Arkansas. All right. God bless. See you soon.